What it do, Kita Queens and Kita Beauty Teas. As y'all can see, I'm coming at y'all with another client tutorial, and we just about to step right into it. So I'm gonna start this tutorial off like I start off all my other ones. I'm just gonna take some makeup remover on a cotton pad and use it to clean off her face. This is my friend, y'all. As y'all can see, her skin is already basically flawless, so it's not much I had to do to it prior to the makeup. But once it's clean, I'm going to take my Pond's moisturizer and just use it to moisturize her skin. As y'all can see, she came to this session with her eyebrows already on fleek, so I did not have to go in and shape them up. They already shaped up themselves. If you are or plan on being an upcoming client to an MUA, make sure you go to the appointment with your eyebrows already did. It'll make the process so much easier. But now I'm going to go ahead and start lightly outlining her brows, and to do that, I'm using my Nicka K dark brown eyebrow pencil. For this tutorial, I decided to use a different technique on the brows. First, I'm going to outline them, then I'm going to take this angle brush and just use it to move some of the product around. This helps me not have a heavy hand when working on the brows, just because when I am doing different races, I like to have a lighter hand just so the brows don't come out too harsh. But once I've moved the product around, I'm going to go in and lightly fill in the areas that are still a little sparse, and then I'm going to take my angle brush in again to move around some of that product. Once I arrive to the front of the eyebrows, I'm going to take a lighter pencil from Nicka K and just use it to make hair-like strokes. Once I have the strokes all made, I'm going to go in with the spoolie side of the pencil and just brush them out. And then I'm going to once again go over the eyebrow with that angle brush. Now I'm going to follow the same technique on the other eyebrow. To clean up the brows, I'm going to be taking my LA Colors concealer and my Arcade by Kiss concealer. First, I'm going in with the Arcade by Kiss concealer just because it's lighter, and I'm going to be using it to clean up the bottom of her eyebrows. I like to outline the shape that I want first, and then once I have the brow good in line, I drag the concealer down and buff it out with my buffing brush. Whenever you begin blending out the concealer, you want to tap it in place instead of swiping, just so you don't disrupt any of the product. So yeah, tap it in place. That I have the bottom all finished, I'm going to take that darker concealer from LA Colors and use it to clean up the top of her brows. The darker one blends into her skin better, so once we get to the foundation, it'll just be easier to make it blend. So yeah, that's why I go in with the darker one at the top. Now I'm going to take that buffing brush and just tap in that excess product. And just like that, our eyebrows are on fleek. Do y'all see these brows? Like, do y'all see these brows? For the eyeshadow base, I'm going to be going in with my P. Louise base and just taking it on this flat brush and applying it all over her eyelids. Then I'm going to go in and buff it out using that same buffing brush that I used to buff out the eyebrows. Make sure you tap for this part too, y'all. Tap, 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 tap. Tapping is the best way to blend out any of your products. Once you're finished blending out your base, it should look something like this. And now we're ready for the eyeshadow. So for my palette, I'm going to be taking my Juvias Saharan 2 palette, and I'm using that light shade right there. I don't even know how I would describe this color, y'all. I don't know if it's orange, I don't know if it's brown. I'm just call it a burnt orange type of shade. But anyway, I'm just going to pack this on the outer edge of her eye first, and then I'm going to start blending this color towards the front of her eyebrows. Make sure you're heavy on the outside of her eye, and then once you work your way to the front, make sure you loosen your grip so that you can have a lighter hand. So yeah, I'm just blending this out. Before you go in with your next shade, you want to make sure the eyes are as symmetrical as possible. And the second shade I will be taking is that dark brown shade in the middle. Sorry, I forgot to point it out, but I'm just going to take this buffing brush and just lightly buff it into her crease. First, I'm going to build up the color using that buffing brush, and as y'all can see, I'm still using these patting motions. Make sure you pat. Now I'm going to take that fluffy blending brush and use it to blend that color out into the first shade that we use. I wanted this look to be very soft and blended, so make sure you take your time when blending. Go light-handed first and then build up the color if you would like to have more color. For our last transition shade, I'm going to be taking this deep yellow shade from my Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm just going to tap this over the first shade that we used. For the lids, I'm taking this peach matte eyeshadow from the Makeup with Jaclyn palette that she made with Be Perfect Cosmetics, and I'm just going to tap this all over her lids. This is a soft no cut crease look, so you don't have to be neat at all. Once you have it tapped on, you want to go in with that blending brush and just lightly blend out the edges, because the topic of today is blend, baby, blend. To line her eyes, I'm actually using a brow pomade from SnatchedSquad on Instagram. This pomade is in the shade Ebony, so it is like a dark brown, which is why I chose to go in with it. You can use a dark brown gel liner or whatever you want, but I had a pomade, so I went in with a pomade. And I'm just doing a wing liner using this angle brush. I'm trying to make the liner as thin as possible, and I'm gonna smoke this liner out so it doesn't have to be neat. But while filming this tutorial, I didn't know if I wanted to smoke it out or not, so I did kind of make this line neat. But if you're gonna smoke your liner out, it does not have to be neat. Now that my wings are drawn, I'm going to take the two darkest browns out of my Jaclyn palette on this small eyeshadow brush and use it to smoke out this liner. So I took a light hand of the eyeshadow and I'm just swirling it around, just blurring out the line basically. And once I blur out the liner, I'm also going to take a little bit of that dark brown and apply it to her crease as well. Okay, because do you see the blend, baby? Do you see the blend? Alright, right here I'm going on top of the eyeshadow with this matte beige eyeshadow just to lighten up this peach shade a little bit more. So I'm just tapping this on the lid, and then I'm gonna go over it with my blending brush just to make sure my edges are still blended out, because what I say the topic was blend, baby. The topic is blend. Okay, before we get into the foundation, I'm going to take some of the makeup remover and use it to clean off any of the fallen eyeshadow. These are the lashes that I decided to go in with. I did cut them prior to applying them to her eyes. Make sure you always cut your client's lashes to fit their eyes, just so it doesn't bring them discomfort in the inner corners of their eyes. But I'm just applying these to her eyes using my eyelash tweezers. And for anybody that is wondering, I purchased all of my lashes off AliExpress just because I have a lot of clients and I order a lot of lashes in bulk, and AliExpress is very affordable, so y'all make sure y'all check them out if you're looking for somewhere to get lashes. But yeah, I'm just gonna stack these on top of her eye and get as close to the lash line as possible, just so you'll still be able to notice that blended liner that we did, baby. As y'all can see, some of my eyelash glue did transfer to the bottom of her lash line, but it's okay, girl. It happens to the best of us. It's an easy fix. So once I had the lashes on and popping, I decided to go in with some primer, y'all. I just made this like my new routine out of nowhere, and I love it. I like to take a silicone based primer and just apply it to their face before I apply the calamine lotion, and this just ensures that the foundation melts into their skin flawlessly. And I like for the primer to be silicone based just because it adds like another layer of skin, like a fresh new layer of skin. If you have pores, it will fill in those pores so that you will not see them, and it's just perfect, girl. It's perfect. So yeah, y'all may see me doing this in a lot more of my client videos. Now I'm just going in with my calamine lotion and just applying it to all the oily areas of her face. I'm making sure I take a thin layer of this calamine lotion just so it doesn't show up through her foundation. So yeah, I'm just applying this to the areas that I see fit. And calamine lotion also adds as a good like color corrector. It'll hide any blemish that you have before you even put the foundation on, so that's even better. As y'all can see, I'm going in with my Maybelline Fit Me foundation, and these are the two shades that I'm taking. First, I'm taking that darkest shade, and I'm just going to work it around the perimeter of her face, and I also decided to apply it to her nose. Now I'm taking that lighter foundation and I'm just working it into the inner portions of her face. So everywhere where you will basically highlight, that's where I'm going to apply the foundation. And I like doing this technique just because it makes it so much easier to shade match your clients. As you can see, the darker foundation looks perfect, but it's just a shade too dark, and then this one was a shade too light, so you get a very good medium. To blend out this foundation, I'm going to be using my Real Technique sponge, and I left this in real time, so as y'all can see, I do move kind of fast, but I'm very light-handed. Like, as you can see, her face is just barely moving, and this is the way you want to basically hold your sponge. If you have acrylic nails like me, instead of holding the sponge with your fingertips, make sure you hold it with the tips of your nails instead. So you basically just barely want to hold on to the sponge, and then just tap it along their face to blend out all of the foundation. And I don't know if y'all can tell or not, but that primer makes the best difference. As you can see, this foundation, it's just melting into her face and looking more and more like skin. So I recommend all of y'all follow that technique. First go in with the primer and then go in with the calamine lotion. It may seem like a lot, but trust me, it pays off. Now I'm highlighting her face, and to highlight, I'm using my NYX and my e.l.f. concealer. I will have the shade names in the description box down below, but I'm gonna just apply this everywhere where we normally highlight. Y'all already should know the drill. The chin, the under eyes, the forehead, and the nose. All that, baby, we need all that. To contour her face, I'm going in with my Black Opal foundation stick, and it's in the shade Beautiful Bronze. And I'm just going to take this on her cheekbones, her forehead, and her jawline as well. I'm gonna let the concealer sit and just go in and blend out everywhere where we contoured. So to blend out the contour, I'm using my Real Technique sponge, and I like to use the same side of the sponge that I used to blend out my foundation, just to make everything mesh together well. Y'all, I don't know why this clip got so bright or what happened to my ring light, but please bear with me. I didn't even realize that it was like this until after I was finished filming, but the light will adjust back to normal in a second. Now that the contour is all nice and blended, I'm gonna go in and blend out the concealer, and I did flip my sponge to a clean side just because you do not want any of that foundation stick transferring into the highlight, girl. That is not cute. Right here, I am blending out her under eyes, but I'm not going to blend out directly under her eyes. I'm going to let it sit a little longer, and I'm just going to blend out the edges for now. So as you're going to see, I'm going to flip my sponge to a clean side, just because I find that when I get all the way to this part of her eyes, it's always a little too much concealer. So if ever you find that you have too much concealer applied to the edge of her eye and you don't know where to blend it or how to blend it, just flip your sponge to a clean side and it'll take all the excess concealer away. I'm going to take my buffing brush and use it to buff out the concealer between her eyebrows. Then I'm going to go over it with my Real Technique sponge just to make sure everything is well blended and well meshed together. And as you're going to see, I'm going to go over her nose a few times because I like it all to be creaseless as possible, honey. Then last but not least, I'm going to take that sponge and blend out the concealer that has set under her eyes. And the longer you let it sit, the more full coverage and in place it'll be. So yeah, as you can see, I'm just blending this out. I'm going to take some of that concealer and just go on the sides of her nose with it. This is going to aid in the contouring process when we start to contour her nose. So I'm basically already sculpting her nose out because the parts of her nose that we left blank, that's exactly where we're going to contour it. To set everything in place, I'm going to be using my Fit Me press powder, and this one is in the shade Coconut. I'm just taking my Real Technique sponge and pressing this powder into her skin with it. If you don't have a sponge, you need to go get one now, girl. Go get one. So yeah, I'm just dabbing this powder everywhere where we highlighted. She's so pretty, y'all. Look at her. But now I'm taking my Derma-blend loose setting powder, and this one is in the shade Translucent, and I'm just going to basically apply this everywhere we highlighted as well. I am going in with this as a baking powder, so I did go ahead and apply it to the sides of her nose, under her eyes, on her chin, and on her forehead as well. This is a great powder, y'all. This powder is so finely milled. Like, if you're looking for a good translucent powder, I highly recommend this one. Go get it. But once that's all done and set, I'm going to take this Fit Me pressed powder in the shade Mocha, and I'm using this to set the contoured areas of her face. So I'm just taking this fluffy angled brush and using it to dab this product into her skin. I'm going to take my Fenty Beauty loose powder in the shade Honey and use it to clean up under her contour. So I'm going to be applying this to the lower portions of her face and just stamping it in and letting it sit. I'm taking that Fit Me pressed powder in the shade Mocha and I'm using it to sculpt out her nose. I'm sculpting out her nose using this fluffy brush because I wanted it to be as soft as possible. And since we use that loose powder on the sides of her nose, it creates a guide for us to stay in when sculpting out her nose. So yeah, if you ever want a easy way to contour a nose, or if you're struggling with contouring someone's nose, just set a little guide first and it'll just make it easier for you to stay inside the line. Now I'm dusting away all of that baking powder, and to do so I'm taking another blending brush and I'm dipping it in that Fit Me pressed powder in the shade Coconut, and then I'm just lightly swiping the powder off her face. Make sure you swipe very light so that you do not move any of the products and mess up your hard work. I'm gonna go ahead and spray her face with my setting spray, and y'all know I like to drown a face, honey, so I'm really going in, girl, don't play. And I actually went in with 2 different setting sprays in this video, and I forgot my bougie girl fan at home. I always do. So I'm taking some eyelashes and just fanning this spray, and before it's all fanned away, I'm gonna go over it with my Real Technique sponge and just press it into her skin to further set the makeup. I'm taking some black gel liner and using it to line her waterline, and she took this part so well, y'all. Like, her eyes didn't water and she didn't even flinch, and I was just like, okay girl, okay, this ain't nothing new, you ain't new to this, all right, we get it, period. I'm taking a dark brown eyeshadow and putting this on her lower lash line. I'm only going to be taking this about halfway just because I didn't want it to look too harsh. And I also did her bottom lashes off camera. I just used a regular smegular Maybelline mascara, y'all, but now I'm going in and highlighting the tip and the bridge of her nose, and I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit in the color Sun Dip. Then I'm gonna take this fluffy eyeshadow brush and use it to apply the highlighter to her cheeks. As y'all can see, you can already kind of see where the light naturally hits her, so that's basically where I'm applying the highlight. And then I'm gonna have her smile just so I can make sure I highlight the apples of her cheeks too. Last but not least, I'm going to go in with her lip shade. So I'm taking this dark brown lip liner from Zerura Cosmetics on Instagram, and I'm going to be using it to line her lips. And we are doing an ombre lip, y'all already know. So I'm going to line her entire lips with this pencil, and then I'm going to go in and lightly fill in the edges. I did overline her lips a little bit just because y'all know I like the lips to look nice and juicy, but I'm going into the center of her lips using that Absolute New York lip gloss. I believe it's in the color Natural, and I'm just going to focus it in the center and then blend it out into the liner. And this made the perfect shade, y'all. Like, it matched her eyeshadow so well. I was so happy with this combination, and y'all know this is like my new favorite combination anyway. But now the look is basically finished. I'm just going in with a few finishing touches. I'm just cleaning up around her lips. Y'all know I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I'm taking some foundation and just putting it anywhere where I feel like I went a little too far outside of the line. Then I'm just gonna blend it out and set her face again with my setting spray. And once that's finished, I'm getting into the grand reveal, so I'm gonna just let y'all watch.
You ready to see? Oh my god. Yeah. I look so good. Yes, girl, you cute. Period. You matched it perfectly with my skin. Oh my god.
Alright, queen, so as you can see, she loved her look, and this is the client video that I took on my phone. If you would like to see more of the client videos that I took of this look, feel free to go to my Instagram, and don't forget to follow me while you're there. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Tell your friend about my channel, because I am keeping these client tutorials coming back to back. But stay tuned, and I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye bye.